Okay, so I've had a few people, just I think because of the internet, really, like basically people saying, they're starting to see all this motivational stuff like put on Facebook or Instagram, reshared or whatever the case is. It's not normally in their like queue, so they're seeing all this information and they're interested in, like reading books or listening to books more or less. And I will say that I read a shit ton of books, maybe not necessarily physically read. I do have a couple good ones really down there at the bottom of my office, and then some at home. But I use Audible, right? And I use Audible and I listen to books over and over and over and over and over again. And it's studying, right? Because life is school. School is life, okay? So you're constantly going to school. You're constantly educating yourself, okay? Self-education. You can go to school and you can get a shit grade. You can go to school and get a good grade. But you have to teach yourself more than anything. And that's, I think, the biggest reason why people go to college. So for these slackers who, ask their professors for less... oh, bring this, can you drop this one, thing that we have to do, one project, blah, 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 because they're whiners and complainers, basically, instead of pushing themselves and putting some pressure on themselves. That's what it's about, being in America. You have a lot of opportunity, but a lot of people just like to bitch and cry. So anyway, recently I hear a lot of people talking to me about books or bringing up some, this book, blah, blah, blah. So I've talked about some of the books that I've read on like Instagram and Facebook, but usually those posts don't get many views or nobody really gives a fuck about them. Basically, I'm just going to give you 4 books to start with, okay? And these books are, if you've already read, okay, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. So these are 2 books that are like the Bibles of motivational money, financial success, your relationship with money, understanding your relationship with money and what you really want in life, okay? These are the prime, okay? You have to read these books first prior to reading any other book, okay? You must know these books like the back of your hand. They must start ticking your brain like chick, 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 before you move on to other books. Because what's gonna happen is as you move forward, there are a shit ton of books out there. There's more books out there than you can even imagine on any topic. You need help with delegation? I can give you 4 books right now that's gonna pressure you to delegate more tasks to other people. Okay, so you need this base work of understanding where you really want to go. Okay, so you don't get sidetracked with books that are not really for your future or what you truly want. Okay, so I always recommend start with Rich Dad, Poor Dad and Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, because there's just so much information. I get book recommendations all the time. Okay, I start the book and then I can't finish it. Right, I'm past that. I don't need to know that. I don't need that book. Okay, but then there are books that I didn't even know I needed. But I know I need it when I start listening to it because I have done all of the research and study and education on myself, reading books. Right, continuously educate myself. So the 4 next books after Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Think and Grow Rich. Okay, read those 2 books. You can probably get them on YouTube for free. You don't even need to get them on Audible. I have an Audible like subscription, so every month I get to get a new book. And I will say I've really been like going ham on books for the past, I will say it will be almost 3 years this December. Okay, and when I tell you that I went from doing like to like killing shit, reading is fundamental. I don't even want to be around people that don't read, to be honest with you, or listen to the book, right? I mean, because it's difficult to find time, but you need to find time for this. So 2 books next are Grant Cardone books. He has another one that I haven't read yet. He has actually 2 more that I wanted to read. But I've read these books over and over and over. Not a lot of people like Grant Cardone. Grant Cardone's either you love him or you hate him, okay? Hold on one second. Okay, so, sorry, Grant Cardone. So he has 2 books that I'm going to recommend right now. It's called Be Obsessed or Be Average, and the 10X Rule. Now, Grant can be, he's aggressive, okay? But I love that he's aggressive. The reason why is because most likely, if you are reading these books, you don't come from much. Okay. So if you don't come from much, you need this motivation to adjust your relationship with money, adjust with, what you're able to have in life. And you need to be a little bit aggressive for what you want. Okay. And sales is the number one way to gain success, to gain wealth. Okay. If you can't sell, it's very difficult for you to do much of anything. Okay. You can have a good product, but can you sell it? Okay. You can have somebody else's product and sell it and make yourself money. So I think selling is one of the fastest ways that you can gain wealth. Okay. I don't care what industry, even if you're in real estate. Okay. You still need to be able to sell yourself to a buyer. If you want a good deal, sell a good deal. Okay. So selling is is definitely a skill that you have to master for success. Okay. But a lot of things that Grant does is he basically says, let's go to the next level. Push yourself to the next level. Why not? Why not? Why not? And anytime I'm feeling like, mediocre, I put Grant on. Okay. He fires me up. And then he gives you he talks about his life. I mean, Grant hasn't had an easy life. Okay. And he talks about his life a lot when he's like, I was dating the wrong person. Yes. There's times where we date the wrong people that does not help you get to your goals. Okay. Are you drinking every weekend? Are you going out every weekend? Right? Is that getting you to your goals? No. Why are you doing it? What are you celebrating, bro? Right? So I think it's kind of like a kick in the ass that you need, right? I grew up like that. That's how our dad was when we were younger, when it came to sports. Okay. Kind of like a no nonsense kind of thing. Practice. So that kind of heat, motivates me. So I think that's a great transition from, okay, this is what I want. I want to be successful. I want to be financially free. I want to have more free time. Right? Now, how do I get there? Sales, or really honing in on what I want, and being aggressive to it. You only live one time, right? So I think Grant is a great way to get that motivation, those juices flowing. So I've been listening to Grant, like literally I'll re-listen to the books. I'll re-listen to different chapters all the time just to get my flow. The next one is going to be David Goggins. So David Goggins was military, is military, whatever. He was a Navy SEAL, and he did SEAL training. I can't really remember everything, like maybe 3 times, which Navy SEAL training is like intense, crazy, mental and physical strength, that most people just can't deal with. But he's pushing himself to prove to himself that this is who I am, this is who I can be. Just because I was there, I can go here. And it is a really amazing story. It's very motivating. I mean, he ran with like broken legs, like insane stuff, where most people would have gave up, where, he talks about his diet, his habits were horrible, but he was able to turn that around. And it's really a beautiful story in the sense that, when we're going through things in life, we kind of like shut down on ourselves, and we're like, oh my God, this is killing me. I can't get past this. Like sometimes we just cannot see the light at the end of the tunnel, and you really have to focus on it. So this is another really motivating book where, motivated as far as like, getting from point A to point B, okay, I backtracked a little bit and then getting to point B. Just really putting the pressure on yourself to say, I can do this, I will do this, and putting yourself in that position. So that's a great motivation book. I've listened to that 2 times so far, and I just recently listened to him on Joe Rogan, the podcast. I let my kids listen to it for an hour. Mind you, my sons listen to all this stuff. Okay, so I don't get in the car and play music. Very rare occasions I play music. I listen to motivational books or speeches, or these books that we listen to. My kids hear it. They're 5 and 6 now. They're 7 and 8, but they've been listening to it forever. They've heard Rich Dad Poor Dad. They go to sleep to 48 Laws of Power. Because that way it's more like second nature when it's like, okay, read a book. Yeah, I'm 16, 17 years old, and this is what I'm accustomed to. I remember my mom, this type of thing. So the last one that I'll recommend is Trump, and it's The Art of the Deal. So Trump has a few books out. Now, this book was written well before he was president. If you know anything about Trump's life, which I honestly didn't before he became president, before I even read this book, and I didn't read this book until he was already out of office. So Trump's family, his dad started in the real estate industry, okay? And it goes about his family history, so I think it's very intriguing. So his father was in the real estate industry, but he was in like, I want to say, I don't know, Section 8 or low income housing. So obviously that has a different characteristics than other real estate. So Trump had that experience, and then he built, you know, basically an empire, you know, around real estate, but in a different aspect. You know, he had standards that he kept at a certain level, and he brought people to those standards. Okay, so he created this brand from that aspect. His deal and negotiation skills are immaculate. I mean, I never knew that stuff. So I never knew that information. So I was just like really floored at listening to his story, and you know, his different negotiation tactics, and how he got in with more you know, more of the, I don't know if you want to say like the social life or the aristocracy, I can't say it, of New York. But it's a really good book. I mean, it motivated me as far as negotiation. And one thing about Trump is that he never drank. So he doesn't drink alcohol. And I think he talks about that in his book when he was a young guy, you know, in the social circles, and these guys drank and he didn't drink. And I just thought that was really compelling to me, because it's difficult, you know, to be peer pressured, right? Especially at that high level. And he didn't, and he doesn't drink till this day. So that's my fourth book. So it's going to be Obsessed or Be Average by Grant Cardone, The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. 10X Rule is like, do everything 10 times. You know, you want to make 10 calls today, make 100 calls today, and see what your results are from that. Trump, The Art of the Deal is just a very great story about, it's very inspiring about maybe, you know, putting your mind to requiring more in your life, or, you know, leveling up. And then Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins, just as a motivational kind of thing. Anytime you feel in a rut, listening to his story and him getting back at it. And so those are the four that I want you to read. Definitely make sure you read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That should be like memorized in your brain for now. And Think and Grow Rich. Those are the framework. Okay, those are the base level. You must know this information before moving forward. You cannot go past go. Do not collect your $200. You won't collect your $200, and that's a fact if you don't read those books. And then when I come back, I will do some more on books that I read, particularly pertaining to business and sales. And I do listen to a lot of spiritual books as well, to keep my mind going. So I'll bring those back too. I hope you like my list. Read up.